Hi, and welcome to Changemakers with Eleanor, the podcast where we dive into the lives and lessons of those who are making a difference. I'm your host, Eleanor Baggaley, and in each episode we bring you inspiring stories from leaders, coaches, and people who are not just dreaming of change, but making it happen. Whether they're penning their first book, working in their community, or leading a revolution in their industry, you'll get a first-hand look at how they're shaping the world. If you're looking to leave a mark or simply love a good story about modern-day heroes, you've come to the right place. Here, we're all about changing the world, whether that's one person's world or the world in general. So grab your notebook or just a comfortable seat and let's explore these fascinating journeys together. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to ensure you never miss an episode. Let's go change the world together. So in this episode, I am really pleased to say that we have got Natasha with us to tell us about how she is making a difference in, I was going to say young lives, but it's more than just young lives, I think, isn't it? So Natasha, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Natasha Iregbu and I do a lot of different things. I'm a mindfulness coach and teacher for adults, as well as a creative mindfulness teacher for children and kids, and an author of two picture books, which Eleanor supported me through my publishing journey, and one book that's for parents. So all my books are all mindfulness themes to help children and families to manage emotions and ways to slow down and be more present in the moment. And I'm also a yoga teacher, a toddler mum, and lots of other hats. But my overall work is to help people slow down and look after their well-being through different mindfulness, yoga, and different tools, with a particular interest in working with parents who are neurodivergent and parents and carers of children who are neurodivergent as well.
And I think, obviously, kind of when we're talking, I go at things 100 miles an hour, and I always notice, whenever we do talk, that you do have this really calming presence, and I'm like, oh, I really need to channel that a little bit more. And when you talk about slowing down, I definitely need to slow down. I need you sitting on my shoulder, I think, Natasha, in my entire life. So why is it important for you to kind of have that focus on mindfulness and yoga, and in particular relating to kind of neurodivergence?
I think because everyone's life is so busy, it can be hard to give yourself permission to slow down and to not feel guilty about either taking time for yourself or not rushing when you're out and about with your family. It's always like rushing to the next thing and not spending as much time just being fully with the activity. Like a lot of people, myself included, you're thinking, oh, I need to do that next, or we need to rush and get the bus, or it's just always go, go, go. So the way that I teach mindfulness is through practical ways, so as well as meditation, but also ways that you can bring it into your everyday life, such as using your senses or out and about in nature, and different tools that can help particularly reducing stress for parents and caregivers. As I'm part of a neurodiverse family myself, and I've worked with, before I started my wellbeing business, I worked in the charity sector, and I worked with a lot of children and parents and carers, and a lot had additional support needs and other different issues going on in the background. And I realised the impact that all the stress and attending different appointments and meetings, and it just became quite overwhelming at times for them. And I was helping with emotional and practical support. And when I started my yoga and mindfulness journey, I started having to think like everyone needs yoga and mindfulness, yes. But particularly parents and carers who've got children with additional support needs, and or themselves who are neurodivergent, there's extra things added on top of that that adds extra stress. And yeah, so that's
Yeah,
kind
no,
of my
absolutely.
thinking
Yeah.
behind everything.
No, and kind of just listening to you, it's so I don't have a diagnosis, but I highly suspect that I do have ADHD, and it came about because I was looking into it for my son as well. And I know, for one, I'm very much even when you're talking about looking through for the next thing, and my head was then going off going, oh yes, I've got this and I've got that and I've got that, da, 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 going through everything. It's like, right, no, focus on what we're doing in the conversation
Yeah.
now. And I think it
Yeah.
is like, to actually hear someone spell it out like that, it does make you go, ah, oh, yes, actually, this, you do need to take that minute. And I think, obviously, so I've got my youngest little girl who has Down syndrome, and then obviously my middle one, who we are kind of waiting for a diagnosis for.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really hard work, and trying to find even 30 seconds sometimes to just have that time out for your own sanity is really needed. And I probably, as I say, I need you on my shoulder, Natasha. I probably do need to kind of focus on that more. And I'm guessing kind of 99% of the people out there would probably benefit from some of that time as well.
Yeah, it's funny well, not funny. And I highlight, I'm not diagnosed either officially, but I think I've got ADHD and highly like the dyscalculia as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Um, so yeah, if I use mindfulness quite a lot to help slow down my mind, because mine isn't so much it is external hyperactivity. Like I'm always doing things, but also my mind is very very busy. So the
Active, yeah,
mindfulness
yeah,
helps me as well to try and
yeah.
slow down. Although so I understand when your mind's all busy.
It must have been hard for you as well then to um I guess retrain yourself to make that mindfulness part of your, because obviously we know habits aren't always the easiest to stick to as well. So how do you make yourself stick to that every single day, or however often you do it? Kind of how do you keep in that, how do you keep mindful about being mindful essentially?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, and it's only been over the last since the end of last year that I started knowing. And so I worked a lot with quite a few kids with ADHD and things, but mostly boys. So it was only like over the last since the end of last year that I was looking more into the signs and symptoms, and a lot from online about girls and women. And that's when I started to realize, and thinking back from when I was a child as well, like internal thoughts are really, always really fast. So some of the different ways that if I'm feeling a bit, like my mind's like feeling overwhelmed or just feeling a bit like tired as well from being a parent and working and things,
Yeah.
I use the stop technique quite often. So that's S is for stop or pause, and then T is take time. So take a few deep breaths, and O is observe. So observing, just taking time to just to sit and think and observe what thoughts are coming to your mind and how you're feeling in that moment, to kind of slow down your whole to slow down and pause. And then from then P stands for proceed. So to continue, either if it's making a decision or just carrying on with the rest of your day or the activity, that you've had that time to slow down and you do it more mindfully. So it can be used in lots of different situations. It could be trying to think of an example. Yeah, if you're out about and it's a meltdown, it's just started the terrible two tantrums. So sometimes I get overwhelmed and like, oh my goodness, like especially when I'm out in public, and it's like I have to remind myself that the kids pick up your
Oh
energy
yes.
as well.
Yeah.
So in those moments, I'm like, okay, I just need to stop and pause, and even just for like a few seconds, even if I don't do the full stop process, just taking a few deep breaths and then bringing myself back down to that calm level, to then be like, okay, I need to keep him safe because he hangs out the buggy and things. So I'm like, I need to think more logically, because I think sometimes when you are either yourself or your child's in like a more heightened state, it's easy to then you absorb them, and then it's like it gets
it
a whole
spirals.
bubble
Yeah,
of
yeah,
yeah,
it can
it
easily
spirals.
spiral. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I guess I've kind of got two, although there's quite a big age gap between those two. But yeah, when there's two of them and you, it's a
Yeah.
very vicious spiral, probably.
Yeah.
I quite like the stop. So it was kind of stop and take a pause, take
Yeah.
a moment,
A
wasn't
few
it?
breaths.
Yeah, a few
Yeah,
breaths,
take a few deep
observe your
breaths.
thoughts, and then
Yeah, and your
proceed.
feelings, and then proceed mindfully. Yeah.
I needed that on Saturday. I really did. Saturday was a hectic day, and I definitely needed to. And I did. I
Oh,
did actually. I would never normally say, but I did say to someone, I was like, I feel like I could just cry at any minute right now, because I was kind of flitting about all over the show, and it was a lot. I was
yeah.
in massive kind of overwhelmed state.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to carry that one with me. If I don't do anything else, I'm going to try and remember stop. So
Yeah.
thank you. Um, so obviously this is what you're kind of doing at the moment with in various different ways. Do you have a big vision or goal as to what you want to do with this? How you want to help people kind of beyond what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, I've been doing quite a few more recently, doing different speaking opportunities like webinars and talks, and a big value that's within all the different within my books and mindfulness and yoga workshops is increasing access to well-being activities, well, diversity, inclusion, and access to well-being, as well as to within the publishing and literacy as well, for
Okay.
children to access more books and to see themselves represented in books and stories. So diversity and inclusion covers all the work that I'm doing. So I'm hoping to do more speaking opportunities and reach different audiences to help increase that representation, because a lot of the time from my journey within both the wellness and creative industries, it's, I don't know if it's maybe could be a Scotland thing, but it's probably UK wide. But within books and things, it's not really, from especially when I was younger, there
Yeah.
wasn't much diversity within books. And even looking at books, I can't think of a character I was thinking, oh, that looks like me or my sister or somebody
Yeah. Yeah.
that, yes, from a different cultural background. Similarly within the wellness wellness space, I'd never been to a yoga class. Still haven't been to an in-person yoga class with a black yoga teacher. I've been to
Oh,
one Pilates.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow. That's
that's,
interesting. That is
yeah,
really interesting.
yeah. And even sometimes before I was teaching, even just as like a participant, so that even like being like a student in the class, there have never been a class where there's someone else, even from other ethnic minority backgrounds. Sometimes there was maybe one or two, but not not really, not that I can remember. And I remember going to a Pilates class years ago, and the teacher was black, and I was like, "This is," and then I realized, this is the first time I've been to a class that's, yeah, someone who looks like me. And then it brought when I started my yoga teacher training, or before I started it, I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I can, like, I had the confidence to do this because I've not had that, almost like a role model or someone that
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's really
I've
important. It
seen.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I'd done a lot of online classes and things, but and it was like, or YouTube videos, but it's a wee bit,
When
yeah,
you're in
YouTube's different to
person,
actually,
yes,
yeah, seeing
absolutely,
someone.
absolutely. So, I mean, my background before the books and the publishing was within maths, and in that context,
Hmm.
maths education, and in that context, we talk very much about women as role models to try and increase the number of girls kind of interested in STEM and things like that. And
Yeah.
so I know it's not the same, but I kind of I understand that need to have those role models, those people who you are used to seeing in those positions,
Yeah.
to make it normal in inverted commas, to
Hmm.
make you realize that actually that is something that you can do. And representation in all areas. I mean, I'm pretty sure we had this conversation before about the books, obviously with kind of Ava the
Yeah.
Mermaid, that I did. I wanted that representation for Ava around the disability. And actually, one of the things within there, I did insist that we needed to have a black mermaid within the Ava the Mermaid books as well. So there is. I'd like to think there's more than one, but I can't actually think off the top of my head what the different mermaids look like. But I wanted that kind of different representation of the characters within that book as well. So I completely hear you with that, and I think that's amazing that you are trying to kind of, as well as that, slowing down, giving people that space and that time, actually thinking about the representation and creating a platform for people to be seen, heard, and step into their own amazingness, I guess, essentially. I think it is brilliant.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. And as well, I think it's like raising awareness for other people, because sometimes it's not something that people think about like actively, either unless they're either part, maybe got children or a family member who's got disability, or if you're from an underrepresented background, you maybe wouldn't think about these things, and it's not until someone mentions it, like, oh yeah, I've not really thought about that. And I've got by the time this is released, we'd have already done it, but I've got a talk that I'm sharing at Manchester's Mindfulness Festival and their online events on Saturday, and that's about increasing diversity and inclusion and accessibility within mindfulness. For mindfulness teachers will be attending, so it's like mindfulness is as well about your own and reflection on your own values and your. It's an internal process, but also external, how to make a difference and increase that accessibility, so it doesn't feel like something it's out of reach or it's only for a specific group. Yeah.
I think you're right that in terms of people's thinking is quite often within what they know, isn't it? And I will hold my hands up that I probably didn't think about the EDI aspect of things until, well, certainly not in this same extremes as I do now. It was after having Ava that it started to change my thinking about perceptions and accessibility and representation and all of those things in various different walks of life. And I think you're absolutely right. And I don't think people do it from a malicious or ignorant standpoint. It is just that, well, I guess hoping people's minds are parachutes and open to that learning and taking it on board and then kind of, I guess that ripple effect then, once you've shared that information, make them think, and then hopefully it does have that ripple effect out.
And I think sometimes it can feel uncomfortable for people as well to think about these things, because then people feel, they start feeling like bad or something, or I should have known that. And it's like, if you're not within these conversations or spaces, it's not something that you would just be thinking at the top of your head. So it is, education is quite.
And I guess powerful. Even worrying about if I want to do this, but I don't know whether that's going to be quite right, and worrying whether they're going to do the wrong thing while trying to do the right thing. And I mean, I always say we have a whole, within kind of the Down syndrome community, we have this whole idea of person first language. And I still have family members that still get it wrong and say a Down syndrome child rather than a child with Down syndrome. But none of them are doing it maliciously. And I try and advise and correct with kindness, I would like to say. And I think that's, I would always say, I mean, I've said to the kids at Ava's school and Beavers that if you've got any questions, ask. Don't feel that you can't ask. And I think as long as there is that kind of safe space to be able to ask, it's okay for people to make mistakes if they're trying to make things better. Just ask the people who it affects, essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like we've got off on one now, a little bit. So let's come back to your books and things that you've done there. So you've done, was it Slow Down remind me that I should know these.
Yeah,
Slow Down
Amaya is the first one.
And then was it Slow Down
Sammy after.
Okay, I was trying to think, did they both have Slow Down in it? And I couldn't remember then. So do you want to tell us a little bit about those, why you decided to write those books, and tell us a little bit about them.
Yes, Slow Down Amaya. Decided to write that book as I was thinking of ways to, because I'm a mindfulness teacher and I've worked with kids and different contexts. And I particularly noticed in about 2020, 2021 with kids like mental health and well-being. And when we were allowed to meet up in person again, but outdoors, I done a lot of mindfulness activities one-to-one with children, and it was like informal mindfulness. Mindfulness would be out in a park and writing down different things we could see and hear and different senses, as well as different mindful breathing exercises and things to help, because there was a lot of kids who were anxious and feeling worried about things. I noticed that once I introduced them to mindfulness, although it wasn't explaining what mindfulness was, but the activities were
Yeah.
mindfulness based, and then they absorbed that the practices, and next thing I seen them like, oh, can we do this again, and can we do the senses again? So I was like, oh,
And
this
that
is
must
this
be
is
really
good.
warming for you to see that it is actually having that impact as well.
Yeah, yeah. So then I was thinking, oh, it would be good because I had limited time to run regular classes for kids and to reach a lot of children. And then that's when I thought, oh, if I could think about the story did just come to me randomly, but I didn't planned out a story. But before that, I was thinking it would be, if I could have it as a story in a book, it would mean that I could introduce more children to mindfulness through storytelling, and they would be able to practice different activities to help them if they were feeling worried about things, or even if they just that extra support for regulating their emotions. As even children who aren't neurodivergent, they still need that support for emotional regulation.
Yeah.
And I decided Amaya has ADHD, and Sammy, who's in the first book, and they're both in the same book, in
Brilliant.
each book. Sammy's autistic, and he's a sunflower, and I wanted to put them in the book because after deciding to have black characters, Ben was thinking about the not the interconnected, the overlap, and a lot of times, as well as cultural diversity, there within neurodiversity as well. There's not that many. I hadn't come across books when I was working with children that had neurodivergent characters, and I thought, I could bring those together, especially with the race aspects of neurodiversity, because that can
Yeah.
have lots of different myths, or it's not as spoken about, or maybe don't think that the like professionals might think, oh, they're not neurodivergent, and it's like different
Yeah.
factors come into play. So I wanted that representation within the books. It isn't it's not a overtly discussion about neurodiversity within the books, but their personality traits and their characteristics that
That children
different
can
children can
relate to.
relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then raises things like kindness for others and themselves, and yeah, within the wider society, that they can see maybe if they're not neurodivergent or from an ethnic minority, they'll have friends who are, and just seeing that their peers within books.
Yeah, no, and I think that's amazing. And how are the books going? Because you've been doing quite a lot of work with them to kind of enhance what you're already doing as well. Anyway, weren't you?
So I've done quite a lot of different storytelling events in primary schools, libraries. I was at the Edinburgh Bookshop a few weeks ago doing a storytelling session there, and they've all been really well received. And I just tell the stories, as well as bringing different mindfulness activities. So I've had, the last time I checked, it was just over 900 children and families who had either, not all from book sales, but from that I'd delivered sessions with, so either in schools or libraries. So within just over a year, reached within both the books plus my Mindful Living book for parents and carers as well. I'd reached just over 900 people with mindfulness through storytelling. So that was a
Yeah,
proud
that's
proud moment
amazing.
that I'd been able
Yeah,
to reach
yeah,
that
a big
many.
pat on the back for yourself as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that is absolutely amazing that you've got this resource that you can kind of just expand that reach. And what's the feedback been like from the people who have been able to access um, you through the books, essentially, or just from reading the books?
Yeah, it's been a lot of a lot of different age ranges. A lot of the younger kids, they've even when they're like maybe 3 or 4, from speaking to people or people who've been in touch, they say that that's like Amaya's part of their bedtime routine, or they'll ask to read Amaya and they practice the activities, or if they're feeling if they have lots of big emotions, they remember the different senses, and they remember the mindfulness activities, as well as parents who are being in touch with a couple of homeschooling parents and parents whose children have got additional support needs, and they've said how much of a impact is having that as a if they are feeling a bit overwhelmed, and they've got they have a like a cam corner that they go and read that slow down Sammy if they're feeling worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, different activities.
The books have got, they aren't just storybooks, are they? They have got activities for the children to do. And I know that was kind of one of the discussions we had quite early on, wasn't it, about where to go and what to do with those. So what kind of activities are in the books? I know when people ask me this, I'm like, I can't remember.
A few different ones. There's ones really into mindful breathing, and a lot about how they're feeling in their bodies, the emotions that's relating to when think about a time when you were feeling worried. How did you feel in your body, and who could you talk to about your worries, as well as kindness activities, like how can you be kinder, what kind things can you do for yourself, and kindness towards others, as well, to teach kids self-compassion for themselves and for kindness to each other. So in the stories, particularly Slow Down Sammy, Sammy's feeling worried about a flower contest, and it's Amaya who helps him to feel less worried, and she does mindfulness with him, but as well as like that reassurance and saying it's okay to feel these feelings, and getting children to to better understand it, and be able to identify their feelings as well. So like sometimes it's can feel them, but they don't know how
Can't
to
put a
express
name.
them, or
Yeah.
how to just labeling feelings.
Yeah.
So social
And I'm
emotional activities.
sure there are so many adults as well that will benefit from the activities as well, just working
Yeah,
through
yeah.
with the
There's a lot.
children.
Yeah, definitely.
So, if there's anybody listening at the moment who is thinking, I would really like to make a difference doing whatever it would be, would you recommend a book as an effective way to do that, to help them in whatever goal they've got?
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend writing a book. I think sometimes it can feel like a big task to write a book. But I think if you've got something that you want to speak about, either experience, and something that you want to reach more people, to tell them about your experience and help make a difference to other people, and writing a book, it's quite a reflective activity as well, depending on the type of book. But it does make you think about, maybe not thought about that before, and those pieces of knowledge and experience, can someone else in the world will be experience something similar or the same as you, and they find your book, they can use that as a way to feel, maybe if they're feeling a bit lonely or not got anyone to talk to, although they're not speaking to you directly, just having that kind of that sense of, oh, someone else understands me, and that experience, and it can help people learn new things as well that they might not have thought about before.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely go and write a book.
Yeah, come and write a book.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
should write a book.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, one thing that I have been asking all of the guests is to tell us something fun or interesting about you that people might be surprised about, or that might not be common knowledge, maybe, shall we say.
Like a random fact
Just a
type
random
thing.
fact, a random fun fact about you. So we've had people who are bikers who I was totally surprised by that one. I can't remember some of the others now, but yeah, it was just random fun fact.
Random fact. I used to, when I was 16, I used to work in a Disney store, And I'm a massive Disney fan and enjoy getting dressed up. Well, not so much now, but enjoy getting dressed up as different Disney characters, and yeah, having connecting to my inner child through Disney. So I'm a very big Disney fan.
Oh, well, aren't we all? Aren't we all? I feel like we
Yeah.
love Disney in our house. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess totally living the dream, working in the Disney store as well. So thank you. Is there anything that we have not covered today that you would like to have talked about and shared with the listeners?
No, I don't think so. I think that we covered everything that you wanted to share with everyone.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for coming along. It's been really, really interesting to hear about what you do, your big plans and goals for the future, and how you are being a change maker. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely to chat to you and share different ideas and thoughts.
So before we go, can you let everyone know where we can find more about you and your books?
Yeah, on my website is butterfly-minds.co.uk, and I have copies of my book that you can order directly from me, and they're also on Amazon for all my books, and all more about me and my works, all available on my website, as well as on Instagram, TikTok, and a few other places under Butterfly Minds.
Fabulous. Well, I'll make sure that we've got some of the links and things in the notes with the episode. So thank you very much. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Changemakers with Eleanor. I hope you're leaving as inspired as I am. If today's story has sparked something in you, remember it's never too late to start making a difference. Whether it's writing that book you've always dreamed of, stepping up in your community, or starting that campaign you're passionate about. If you enjoyed our time together, please consider giving us a rating and review on your favourite podcast platform, and share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration. Your support helps us to reach more change makers just like you. Join me, Eleanor, in the next episode for another deep dive into the stories of those who dare to dream big. Until then, be your greatest. See you next time.